Around 500 BC, the Persians sent an army of 50,000 men across the Sahara to conquer present-day Libya. What they didn't understand was that their greatest enemy would be the desert itself. To this day, no one knows exactly what happened to them. Fast forward to the time of the mighty Roman Empire, which tried to conquer the Sahara by building roads to control the gold trade in the region. But even the Romans couldn't overcome the forces of the Sahara. The unforgiving heat, shifting sands, and massive sandstorms make the Sahara a place that only a group of nomads can tolerate. These nomads live in small communities scattered across the 9.2 million square kilometers of desert, with a population of around 2.5 million people living in a space that covers over 10 official countries. In this video, I want to talk about something that no one talks about: how the Sahara history has influenced the countries and people of North Africa. And at the end, I'll show you how much the Sahara Desert is worth economically to these 10 countries. A desert known for hosting terrorism, border disputes, and large areas of ungoverned lawlessness. This is the largest desert in the world, the Sahara Desert. To put its size into perspective, if the Sahara Desert were a country, it would be ranked as the 5th largest in the world and earn the title of the hottest place on earth, with temperatures rising over 50 degrees Celsius. This desert covers about 30% of the African continent, and the heat is just one of many challenges of the Sahara. As we have established, there are 10 countries, 11 if you count Western Sahara, that are spread across the Sahara Desert. All these countries are majority Muslim, with a great influence on language, culture, and tradition coming from the Middle East. The Sahara has seen some of the oldest civilization and most powerful empires, like the ancient Nubians of Sudan, who thrived under the desert's unforgiving conditions, the ancient Egyptians, known as the most advanced society of their time, and the Timbuktu, a thriving ancient city within the Mali Empire located at the edge of the Sahara. During the Mali Empire's peak, Timbuktu was the center of trade, culture, and Islam scholarship in the world. And up in the Maghreb coastal of North Africa lived an ancient people of the desert, perhaps a people who can be classified as the owners of the Sahara are the Berbers, and within them, the Tuareg, the blue people of the Sahara, a nickname given because of their unique blue clothing and veils. These nomads have migrated from North Africa to all parts of the Sahara. The Tuareg have lived in the Sahara for centuries. Their nomadic lifestyles and expertise in the desert survival have allowed them to thrive in the Sahara, building a deep-rooted history across the Sahara's harsh landscape and across countries like Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Mali, and Niger. Throughout history, the Sahara wasn't just a dead desert, but a place of trade and cultural exchange. This desert supported economies throughout ancient trade routes that connected continents. The Sahara was where the Mediterranean world, the Arab world, and Sub-Sahara Africa could connect. Gold was one of the most significant exports from West Africa to North Africa and Europe, with regions like Mali and Ghana supplying much of this gold. Slaves, ivory, salt, metal goods, and horses were exported and imported along these routes. Even religion like Islam and Christianity was spread via these trade routes into parts of Africa. Many would say the desert is hell on earth, a place where only the fittest can survive. But some forget that the Sahara also gives back in terms of wealth and resources. Algeria, for example, has 80% of its land within the Sahara Desert, and the country benefits greatly from the oil and gas found deep within the Sahara, which is over 30 billion annual income. Mali is known for its empire of gold and salt. Mali's gold exports are valued at over 2 billion annually. Niger's part of the Sahara is home to some of the world's most important uranium deposits, particularly in the Alit region. Egypt is mostly hot and dry, but the western part of the Sahara has fertile spots in the desert where water is found. These spots have been vital for civilizations dating back to the ancient times. In Libya, despite the harsh deserts, there is Libya's great man-made river project, which taps into vast underground water of the Sahara to supply water to coastal cities. Although the desert receives less than 25 millimeters of rainfall a year, the Sahara has a lot of underground water, which many countries use. Most of the Mauritania population lives along the southern edge of the Sahara, where the desert meets the Sahel. Some Mauritanians live a nomadic lifestyle, with the Sahara influencing everything from traditional tent housing to camel milk and meat diets. But the desert also gives back to Mauritania through its rich mineral resources. The iron ore mines in the Sahara are amongst the largest in Africa, making mining a cornerstone of Mauritania's economy. In Sudan, the Nubian Desert, part of the Sahara, is known for its ancient archaeological sites, including the famous pyramids. Tunisia's southern part of the Sahara is a major draw for tourists, with the most beautiful of landscapes of Tunisia being featured in numerous movies. In Chad, the northern region is part of the Sahara, and the desert creates a cultural divide between the Muslim, nomadic tribe in the north and the Christian population in the south. And finally, Morocco, the world's largest exporter of phosphate, with annual revenue of around 5 billion. But you cannot speak about Morocco without mentioning the region known as the Western Sahara. Morocco claims this desert area as its own, but the people there, led by a group called the Polisario Front, want to be independent. The conflict over this desert region, which is rich in phosphate and with potential offshore oil and gas, has been ongoing. The Sahara Desert's economic worth to these 10 countries could range from 40 billion to 60 billion, but its historical value cannot be estimated. In fact, it is impossible to do so. From the countless trades across the desert by different cultural groups and races to the ancient civilizations, wealth, knowledge, and infrastructure that the Sahara has hosted, this hot, lifeless desert might be one of the harshest places on earth, and yet it has been a thriving seed to the global economy and, once upon a time, the center of the world advancement.